latest Rosbifs Rugby team guide for the top 14. This time we are looking at Castres Olympique, who are actually my colleague Richard's team. They are his French side. He is a proud member of South London Olympians, which is a completely made up fan club by him for the Castres team. We should have made him do this video, but you're stuck with me. And if you appreciate the fact that Rosbifs Rugby and I am bringing you these videos and hopefully giving you a little bit of information on each club in the top 14 and the Pro Day Do, if you've missed that playlist, then please click like, please hit subscribe and tell your mates about it, because we want to bring and give you as much great content, hopefully great content, about French rugby in the English language. But let's get into Castres. Castres, a place that obviously Rich is a fan. He saw them away years ago in Toulouse in the derby, but we went there last year. This time last year, round 3, I think, or round 2 of the top 14. It's a small town. If you like your canals, I think it's like the Venice of France, technically. Kind of canals weaving through the town. It's very pretty along the riverside or canal side. The players, or historically, there's a lot of like good meaty food. That's why we've got that on there. We got some excellent recommendations from Will Collier, who loves his meat and has been quite vocal in the British press, talking about how the food there is so good. And the players are pretty meaty as a result. They're kind of renowned as a big pack and kind of unglamorous, kind of stodgy side. They've definitely moved away from that last season. They've still retained that kind of unglamorous overachievers vibe. So Castres as a town, as I mentioned, is a small town. It's about an hour away on the train from Toulouse. It might be slightly less than that. And the Stade Pierre Fabre is named after Pierre Fabre Cosmetics, which is headquartered, or has one of its headquarters, in Castres, and it employs something like 50% of the town. So the town is, I don't know, like 40,000 people, 50,000 people, and half of them work for Pierre Fabre, and that is why the club and the stadium are such a key part of the community in Castres. It's quite quiet on a Sunday, as we found out. It said a load of places were open. We did find somewhere eventually, and we had some excellent kind of Sunday meat. We had some brilliant duck there. But more about Castres as a club. They are still, as I said, they are still the kind of quiet overachievers. They are the kind of archetypal better than the sum of their parts. They generally haven't always had any big names. They've got Jack Goodhue at the moment, but they don't generally go in for the kind of poaching players that are retiring from Australia or New Zealand. Like, they just don't have those sorts of players in their squad. They've had a good history picking up players from Fiji, and a good history of picking up players from South America as well. So club legend, and I've forgotten his name now, Rodrigo Capo Ortega, Uruguayan international. One of their star players at the moment is Santi Arata, Uruguayan scrum half. He was actually second choice at the start of last season, and when Jeremy Davidson left and Xavier Sadorni came in as head man, they started playing with a lot more pace, and Santi Arata is the man to do that. Jeremy Fernandez was brilliant, really good kicking, really good petit general, local guy, kicked goals really well, really accurate goal kicker actually. I think he was top 3 in the league. But Santi Arata was absolutely rapid, and some of the tries he scored just caught everyone by surprise. He is so quick and so quick around the fringes. It's really thrilling to watch, and he was a big part of what made Castres so exciting. If you're a Saracens fan, you'll remember Castres overturning them at the Stonex with some really bold attacking play. So historically, they were kind of the team that never turned up in Europe. It was always really stodgy play, a lot of kicking, like some, when it was Christophe Urios in charge, it was tough to beat, Benjamin Erdős-Bajeta, and they've moved away from that. They still have a very gnarly forward pack, and you can see there that our kind of unsung heroes are tight five forwards and a back rower. Mathieu Babillot, the legendary captain, absolute stalwart. He's the guy that's most minutes in the league, top 3 of most minutes in the league, like year on year. Just such a warrior. Does so much work around the park. Like, not a flashy player by any stretch. Will Collier was fantastic last season in his first season at the club. We know from Will Collier that certainly Quins fans know, and people that watch a lot of the Premiership would know how good a scrummager he was. Again, he brought that to France and was just an instant fan favourite in Castres, which is really, really cool to see. The other guy we've got on there as unsung hero is Tom Staniforth, who didn't play at all last season. He missed the whole season with a nasty, nasty injury. The year before that, though, he made our team of the season. I think that season he hit something like most tackles, hit the most rucks, something else that was mad. Like, here's your classic number 5, tight headlock, big lump around the park, boatloads of work rate. Just such a good player to have in your team. Could have had Florian van Verbergen there. Another kind of nasty, kind of brings a bit of bite to that cast pack, but there's plenty of them. They're quite interchangeable in the back row. There's a lot of big lumps who are pretty feisty. Player I haven't mentioned on that list there is Abraham Papali'i, who I think made our top 14 team of the season at number 8. He was just so good. Like, we'd never really heard of him. When we saw him in that game at Castres, he was just such a good ball carrier. Really, really active. Made the gain line every time. Made yards after contact. Fantastic player. Couple of young players there as well that were real regulars for Castres in the second half of the season. Louis Lebrun, certainly talented. On his day, a fantastic kicking game, a fantastic game manager. Really, really good defender. I think he bumped, kind of quite physical. He bumped Henry Pollock in the Champions Cup last season. Like, has a shocker in him. Like, when he's bad, it looks awful. But I think now he will be given the reins at 10, and hopefully will continue to develop. He's a guy that, you know, if he continues on the pathway and fulfills his talent, should be playing for France at 10. The other guy we've got there is one that made our kind of players to watch list, and Rich is a huge fan of him, kind of completely, blindly in love with Teo Shibuni, a guy who, and apologies if you have watched our kind of best signings, best young players to watch video, you'll hear me repeat that. Fullback, loves to run it from anywhere, really exciting, small, diminutive, like good feet, but as I mentioned in that, kind of like a rugby league winger, in that he kind of follows around the rucks and is looking to kind of pick up a short pop ball off a kind of, if there's go forward, he'll come in behind and look to exploit the space. So really exciting player to watch. Probably, I mean, they've got a real pecking order. They've got a load of options at fullback, have France, and loads of them are around the same age, 21, 22, 23. So maybe we won't see him in international jersey, but a guy that could have a stellar season in the top 14. And he kind of took over from Julien Demora, a club legend who finally retired after over 300 top 14 games. Certainly a guy on the way out. Back end of last season, he looked like a guy clinging on. The other key departure is Gaetan Barlow, who has been a key part of that pack for a long time. Captain France over the summer, nuts and bolts hooker, helped run that line out, helped run that maul. They brought in Teddy Durand from Oyonnax, who was a key man for Oyonnax last year, and I think in the top 14. But 8 tries in 20 games, so a guy that kind of perhaps, you know, Barlow didn't score many tries. He was part of a very good pack, but perhaps kind of you're looking for a bit more nous on the ball at the back of those mauls, which they may get from Teddy Durand. The guy at the top of that list of the key signings, Vuate Karoalevu, is a dual code international. He's played for Fiji in both rugby union and rugby league. He comes in from Fijian Drua, I think, or possibly Western Force. And we're really excited to see him. We don't know much about him, but the fact that he's kind of played both codes, international in both codes for Fiji. Cass signed some good blockbuster physical Fijians. RIP to Josiah Raisunga, who sadly passed away during last season. He was a classic of that type, just a big physical, love of the game, freakish offloads kind of player. They've still got Nakarawa, so hopefully in Karoalevu we'll see more of that, and he will fill that Josiah Raisunga hole. They've also brought in a guy, Varesa Ramoto Tambua, who was also at Oyonnax last season, and didn't really play at Oyonnax, but before that was at Mont-de-Marsan, and scored some thrilling tries, like loads of absolutely rapid for a number 8. And Mont-de-Marsan, when they play with pace, they've got a few Fijians of their own. They play with loads of flair. So maybe I would expect to see him do really well at Castres, actually. Ramoto Tambua feels like a kind of guy that will fit in really, really nicely there with their offloading game and the kind of more attacking game that they are building. So where are we at with Castres? Well, like Rich is actually kind of gone for them to go 7th. So they finished 6th last year. They lost away at Toulon in that semi-final. they're going to be there or thereabouts. They kind of always are. They're that team that never really goes away. You know, they're not going to be threatened by relegation. They've got a good squad that's played together for quite a while. It's settled. I've just spotted Adam Vargas there, a really cool player that came from Valence Romans. Really good attacking player, like good angles, scores a load of tries. Excited to see him. But generally, like their signings kind of he's another one that fits the Castres mould. They all fit the mould. They are looking to play with pace. They've lost their S&C coach, I think, to Brive, but if they can keep up that kind of level of S&C and the pace they want to play at, they did fizzle out towards the end of some games last season. Couldn't quite live with some of the teams that, you know, Northampton, Toulouse, like the real top teams, but they're going to be there or thereabouts. I think they will finish 5th. I think they are possibly the best of the rest behind the big 4. Rich perhaps being a bit conservative because doesn't want to pump up Castres tyres too much. They are always going to underplay their own abilities. So can they repeat it? They grew nicely. It's an exciting time for Castres, we reckon. Let us know what you think. Castres, an unheralded side, but we like to trumpet them, partly because Rich is a fan. Let us know if you've got any questions about them. Drop them in the comments. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe. And look out for the next Top 14 preview. Cheers.